What's going on, everybody? I'm Jack Schwartzberg from Tone Chasers, and we're here today at the Queen in Wilmington, Delaware with Brenden B of Wheatus. Welcome.
Hey, Jack. What's up?
Super glad to have you here. So my initial idea for Tone Chasers came from a Wheatus show. I was at a couple weeks ago in Harrisburg, and Brenden plays an odd guitar, I would say.
Yeah.
And just to learn more about it, I approached him about this. So I'm super excited to be here. And why don't we start with your guitar? What do you got here?
This is a Brian Neville custom. This is the 17-inch bout. The other 19 inches over there on the rack. I've been using the 17 lately because I just freshly modified it, and I got this one really thin. I've been trying with the successive models to see how thin I can get them, how lightweight I can get them, how resonant I can get them. Has a pair of African Blackwood A bracing underneath here that goes all the way to the back, and it does not have a neck block in any way, so it's completely hollow. And the modification that I do, instead of a tailpiece, which it was built with originally, is this sort of harp. I build what I refer to as an underbridge system. There are an organized array of rosewood pieces with bone saddles underneath, glued to the bottom of the top. Strings come in here, they roll over those saddles and up out these holes to form this harp, right? Which I really dig. It also increases the break angle off the back of the saddles so that I can't pop the strings out of the saddle too easy, and it keeps the tension really nice. And it has a little bit of extra jingly reverb from this, so it's cool. But this is my favorite these days, the 17. The 19 was my favorite a few weeks ago, but you know.
So it changes. And I know that you used to, I don't know if you still do, run bass strings for your first
So they're
5 and
bass
6.
length. These are the strings they make for the Hamer 12-string bass.
Okay.
Right, so there's the guitar gauges, 50, 40, 30, 20, 14, and 11.
Okay.
But the length is the bass length, so that I can get them in the back here. And thank you to Kurt Mangan for that, for building me custom string sets, even if I have to buy 3,000 of them at a time.
Yeah, cool. So the guitar is fully hollow.
Fully
On
hollow.
stage, are you getting any sort of
Feedback?
A lot of feedback. I
Well,
would
so the
assume.
acoustic sound, never.
Okay.
The crunch sound, kind of lives in feedback,
Right.
but I have complete control over that with my foot.
Okay.
So I can kind of, you know, and just make sure that it's not obnoxious. Occasionally, I fuck it up and it is obnoxious.
Yeah.
But then there's the other spot where there's a little bit of annoying feedback for our front of house guys. Lemonade has a little auto wah that can start to go,
Right.
but that's about it. It's not a very feedbacky guitar for what it is.
Cool. And I guess you kind of led us right there. Let's talk about what pedals you're running. So
I'm not running any
Okay. Yeah, pedal
effects
board
pedals per se.
Right.
I'm running a MIDI control board. Generally speaking, what you've got here is you've got the clean position, which is in all three in the heel, and then you have a crunch, and then you have a radioactive, and then you have a solo patch, right? Depending on the song. So it's clean or acoustic, tube screamery, overdrive, Sans amp, full tilt, full gain, and then a solo lift of some kind, be it a wah or a treble booster or something like that. And on the computer that it is controlling, in the Teenage Dirtbag world, we have, over on the acoustic side, we have a chainer that has the acoustic left that I developed over a long time on a neural amp modeling pedal, which was sampling down and capturing stacks and stacks of other sounds, whittled down to a stereo pair. And I have a little bit of on the album, I had a Mesa Boogie Subway Blues that was sort of just under there, here and there. So I have that little clean tone in here, as well as, in addition to the stereo acoustic, and then of course the radioactive side is a building stack, only 3/5 of which I'm currently using. The original Teenage Dirtbag guitar sounds sampled into and emulated in the NAMM pedals, and then a Vox Night Train that I like back home that I sampled as well. So that's in there a little bit.
Cool. And what program are you using on the Mac?
I'm using Axiom as the sort of guitar suite. Axiom is convenient because it has a very good parallel chainer, which is it's called Patchwork. It's a VST that can be used inside Axiom and can be used standalone, but I prefer it inside of Axiom because Axiom has other effects that I use sometimes as more primarily a guitar thing. But over time, as I collapse the various stacks that I've used over the years into a smaller, more efficient library, I'm starting to get away from the onboard Axiom stuff and starting to get towards just using the NAMM VSTs as plugins, and they're MIDI controlled on the board. So I have basically, if I'm in the heel position, the clean faders are up and the crunch faders are down, and when I go into the toe position, they move in real time and switch. So I have sort of fader control over my sound that way on the floor.
Yeah, cool. So another thing is on your actual kind of faux pedal board here is this switcher for patches for different songs. I know you were talking about Lemonade and Dirtbag earlier, but is there just a patch for every song?
There's 83 songs in there. They all have a different guitar sound. When you get into the different keys, like Wannabe Gangster is in the key of E and so is Teenage Dirtbag. If I accidentally patched over to Dirtbag and played Gangster on it, you might not notice. But if I tried to play Lemonade using the Dirtbag sound, it would be really bad.
Really bad?
Yeah, they're really dialed into each other, in particular with the different snares, because there's a different snare for every song.
Okay.
And you're talking about puzzle pieces, right? The Lemonade puzzle pieces for guitar do not fit around the snare for Teenage Dirtbag and vice versa. So you're really kind of getting into the particulars of making each song crafted to the key and the arrangement so that it fits, instead of being like, oh, that guitar sound's not really from the album.
Right.
But it's okay. We don't really do that. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very cool seeing. I've seen Wheatus a number of times, and to have this sound in front of house that I hear on the records I'm listening to is a really cool experience for the listener, trying to kind of emulate that.
That's what we're going for. It's not always perfect, but that's definitely what we're going for.
Cool, man. And I've caught one of your picks before. What picks are you using? I know Purple Pointy is what I got.
I love these guys. These are the what you call it? I forget the name of them. These are the Brain picks, 63 millimeter, I think they are. They're a little soft for some people, but a little too hard for others. I'm kind of a middle of the road person. Sometimes I play really hard with them, and sometimes I don't. Depends on the technique. A lot of my upbringing was Angus Young, who plays, as you know, really softly, actually, and delicately. But then, of course, you're looking at Fugazi records or whatever. Those guys are not playing soft; they're wailing the shit out of it. So it's the different techniques over the years that have from artists who I've tried to be like, in my guitar world, up to Stevie Ray Vaughan. I had a Stevie Ray Vaughan phase where I was rocking 13s or whatever. It was wound G. I still have the wound G, but hard picks, Stratocaster, nearly bent in half with string pressure. I've been through all of the different phases of delicate and really tough playing. So, it depends. It all depends, which is why I'm sort of with 11 gauge strings, middle of the road pick, looking to go in either direction sometimes.
Right. Cool, man. And I also see that you have kind of an interesting mic here. I usually want to typically ask about mics, but this isn't just an SM58 or something.
No, it's not. It's a condenser. It's a purpose-made handheld condenser made by Earthworks. It's a 314, SR314. We saw Dolly Parton using them.
Okay.
And then we said, well, if it's good enough for Dolly, let's check them out. And they turned out to be great. We also wound up using the drum kit mics from them as well. So, and the girls are on the SR314s also.
Cool. And I also know that you're wireless. Do you know what model of wireless pack
you're
using?
Yeah, it's a Shure. It's the, let's see, I forget what it's called because I used it. It's the Shure ULXD4. Shure ULXD4 is the wireless receiver that we're using.
All right, the official Wheatus branded sponsored wireless system. Yeah. Cool, and I got one more question for you.
Sure.
When we initially talked in Harrisburg, you said you were getting some new guitars made, and I know these are Brian Neville.
So I can show you pictures. I can actually text you some pictures so you can showcase them on your. But there are two guys, Scott and David, and then a luthier called Joe Bonomo on Long Island, who are getting ready to sort of begin an assembly line on a guitar that's modeled after this. The new ones are far steeper. This is, as you know, a wedge. It's skinnier here than it is here. And that helps it kind of sit on me like this a little bit, so I don't have, my glances to the fretboard when I'm singing are shorter and
Right.
more accurate.
Right.
So I decided to take this down even farther and raise this up even farther, so the new ones are more extreme. The new ones are 18-inch guitars. I haven't built an 18-inch guitar before. The whole entire thing is planed and CNC'd on an angle. So this is the extreme version of the experiment on this kind of a model. Titanium truss rods, the lightest weight woods we could find. We're looking to be able to make them and sell them to people, because if we can make them affordable, and I mean like, under $2,000 kind of thing, then we're going to try to do it.
That would be very cool. So
and they'll, sorry to interrupt, but they also have the 36 frets, which this one doesn't have. The 19 has the 36 fretboard.
Okay.
And we're going to try to go up to 36 on the new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for all of you that like super high frequencies in your guitar playing, then you got it. Yeah. That's the highest I've ever heard a guitar go. Cool, man. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great to talk with you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
All right, and we're back here at stage left with Matthew on bass. So why don't we start with your actual bass? It looks custom to me. So
it is, yeah. It's made by. I'm also not this tall, by the way. I'm on a stage.
Right.
This is.
I got a whole lot shorter.
I feel like there's a power imbalance right now. This is made by a guy named Pete Hilton from California. He made these two basses for us. I have a 4 and I have a 5. 4-string and 5-string, sorry. He is like a longtime friend of ours. He used to work with a guy named Carl Thompson, who is most notable for making the early basses for Les Claypool from Primus.
Right.
And he apprenticed under Carl for like 20 years. We met him through Carl, and now he's making basses for himself, and he was kind enough to make us these. It's a short scale, yeah, 4-string fretted. This is what I use for most of the set. I have a handful of songs that I use a 5-string for, but for the most part, especially we're doing album 1, the first album, which is all recorded on a 4-string, so it's very 4-string heavy material for this tour, yeah.
Cool. So why you could, in theory, run the 5-string the whole show and just play?
I could. I switched off. There was actually a period of time where I was playing the entire show on a fretless 6-string.
Oh, awesome.
There were. Funny enough, of all things, the thing that stopped me from doing that was we started doing a Rush cover.
Okay.
And doing a Rush song on a 6-string fretless bass it's already hard enough. And that was really like, my fingers were truly like in pretzels. I was like, I can't. So we started touring with a 4, and then we kind of realized that like the punchy 4-string fretted attack thing for like album 1 songs, Truffles, Sunshine, even Dirtbag, really added a lot. So I could do the whole set on a 5, especially this type of show if I wanted to. Now it kind of functions as a backup. If I break a string on this, I'll grab the 5 and I'll just run the show. Because we don't have for a short tour like this, we don't really have a tech or anything like that. So I could, in theory, probably play the whole show on either one, but some songs I like having the 5, some I like the 4.
Cool.
Yeah.
And also, I see that you're running kind of the same thing that Brendan's doing over there. It might be even in the same computer.
In principle, it's the same thing. It's a different computer, but it is the same general setup, which is this Morningstar MC8 controller, which is a Midi controller that is every single song has its own patch. So as this show gets called, and I don't know if Brendan told you, but we don't write set lists.
Right.
We do crowd requests. So every single Wheatus song that's ever been recorded, including some cover songs, are all in this board. And if someone calls a song, like someone in the crowd says they want to hear, Truffles, I just hit this button, I pull up Truffles, and that's the Truffles bass sound. Some songs, not all for bass, but some songs, I have this expression pedal here that is essentially an effects swell, like Brendan has as well, same general idea, although I only have one because it's a more simple setup. In many cases, it's a little bit of extra overdrive, a little bit of extra distortion. Sometimes it's just a volume boost for the choruses.
Okay.
Just to give it a little bit of an extra punch. I also have some really, really incredibly loud and noisy sounds where I do the whole song just in tow, because if I patch to it, it would just howl.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, but every single song has its own. Some are more distinct than others, like a good example, American in Amsterdam from the second record. So like, that's our verse. And then for the chorus, and I can actually kind of like much or as little as I want.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that expression pedal is just controlling something different for every song.
Something different for every song. Again, for bass, generally speaking, a volume boost, an overdrive, distortion, like in that song, like a big blown out distortion, or just a volume boost to give the chorus a little bit extra punch. Sometimes it's like it'll even give a like a low end volume boost to make the chorus just hit harder, on those low notes. Yeah, and then there's some songs where I just have a single bass tone the whole song, which is a lot of bass players are using that.
Yeah.
Normal thing, but for like Teenage Dirtbag, chorus goes to toe and it gets like bigger and a little bit fatter for those big chorus hits. This is subtle enough that you might.
Right, so just to drop the dynamics there for the whole band.
Yeah.
And you're usually,
I'm playing some dynamics as well, of course, but it's just like a little bit extra.
Yeah, and speaking of that, you're using your fingers the whole show pretty much. You're not really a pick guy.
There's a couple Wheatus songs that we recorded with pick bass. Actually, most of the first record was recorded with pick bass by the original guy. But I prefer fingers generally. We have a song called Break It, Don't Buy It that I always play with a pick. There's a song called Zelda we play very infrequently, and I play that with a pick. But for the most part, I'm a fingers guy. I always feel like I'm a little more accurate with my fingers.
Okay.
And it's just like, whenever possible, that's like my go-to.
Right. And for everyone wondering, I'm a huge Weird Al fan, and I know that you guys have a podcast going on. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about that?
Thank you for knowing that. I appreciate that. Yes, I host a podcast all about Weird Al called Weird Algorithm. We're going through his entire discography song by song. Each week we talk about a different song, and we rank them based on their category. So like parodies, originals, polkas, we're doing album rankings, all this stuff. It's just a super fun. During the pandemic, I did a live stream where I learned how to play every one of Al's songs, and I played them all in a single marathon, like 13-hour session. It was COVID, it was weird times, but it was so much fun, and then from that, a podcast producer reached out to me and asked about doing this. I was like, I love it, and it's become like such a fun, wonderful thing. It's, I don't think you even need to be a Weird Al fan. I think it's like, we talk about just like his influence on pop culture generally, and which is, as it turns out, you go through the decades and it's just constant and ever-changing. So, yeah, huge fan.
Well, we'll leave a link to that in the description.
Yeah, thank you for shouting that out.
Of course. Thank you, Matthew, so much for walking us through your bass.
Oh, man, my pleasure. Thanks for talking about it.